Hi, let us do a demo on node labeling. For the demo purpose, I am going to start 5 instances from Play with Docker. Let me start with Play with Docker. Let me go ahead and start 5 instances. I do have 5 instances. Now I am going to make the node 1 as the master of the swarm. So let me say docker swarm init -- advertise address with the IP address 192.168.0.23, and it's going to provide me the join command with the token. Let me copy them, and please do remember to remove the new line break. I'm going to use this join command as a part of the other nodes. Node to join. Now I am executing it in node 3, then in node 4, and in node 5. To have better understanding, I recreated the swarm cluster once again, or otherwise you can go ahead and use these templates with 3 managers and 2 workers, or 5 managers and no workers. Based on whatever the scenario that suits your requirement, you can go ahead and start. Now I do have the swarm cluster docker node ls, where I do have node 1 as the master and the remaining nodes as the workers. Now I'm going to deploy, so I'm going to create a service with 8 replicas, and the name of the service is no constraint service, and I'll use the Nginx image. So I'm going to create a service with 8 replicas, and I'm naming the service as no_constraint_service with Nginx as the image. So what it will do, it will create 8 tasks and get that distributed across all the 5 machines. Irrespective of whether it is a worker or master, it's going to go ahead and deploy the task. I can get the details. Docker service ps no constraint_service. You see, it got distributed across all the nodes 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what happened? It went ahead and deployed into all the services. Now assume I don't want any task to get deployed into the master. I wanted the task to get deployed only into the worker machine. That's where the purpose of labeling comes into picture. Now I am going to label the master with a label node type as master. So I will add a label node type as worker to all the worker machines, and for the master I will be marking it as master. Let me go ahead and do that. Before that, let me remove this particular service, docker service rm. So the service is removed. Now let me go ahead and add this particular label node type as master against node 1. Docker node update. I want to add the label, and the name of the label is node type, and the value is master for node 1. Now for node 2, I will have the node type as worker. The same thing I will do it for the other nodes as well. I can get the details about this particular label of any node using the inspect command. Docker node inspect node 1. So it's going to have this particular label that we added, node type as master. Now as we discussed, I'm going to deploy a service where I will add a constraint. The task for that particular service should get placed only in the node where the node type is marked as worker. Let me go ahead and create the service. So I'm creating the service docker service create replicas as 8, and name of the node is node_label_test, and constraint node.labels node type is equal to worker. So the 8 tasks will get deployed. Now we can go ahead and verify where this particular 8 tasks got deployed using the docker ps command. Docker service ps node_label_test. That's the name of the service. So if you observe very carefully, it did not deploy the task in node 1. It got deployed only in 2, 3, 4 and 5. The reason because only those 4 nodes were added with the constraint. So I can have multiple labels added to a node, and I can add more constraints, and based on that I can go ahead and select. In a quick summary, we had seen how to use the labels and how to add the constraints while creating the service, and how the task will get placed when the constraint is getting added to the service.